Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome. If you saw my trailer of Why So Fluffy, you'll understand why you're here. This is my first video blog entry. Today's date is September 10th, 2016. I will try to keep myself composed as possible and not try to break down on camera for everybody to see. But this is going to be really tough. So if you saw my trailer, you understood what's going on recently in my life. For years, I had basically hidden everything to the point to where I started getting tetchy, and I really couldn't explain why I started getting tetchy. And last year it just hit a breaking point to where I hit full bottom blown depression and literally thought about killing myself. And I know, not my most brightest of moments, but it resulted in me trying to kill myself. I literally went over to a local area that I knew people jumped off the bridge from. And no, not in Seattle if you're thinking that bridge. And I almost succeeded at jumping. But the last minute I realized I needed to get help. So, for 5 months, I went to go see a counselor. And during that time of seeing a counselor, I started noticing old feelings returning. See, when I was in 7th grade, I had a boyfriend that neither my parents nor his parents knew of. We did this on the safety of neither of us wanted to be picked on, ridiculed, or made fun of at school. And the worst thing happened in this relationship. 4 months into this romance, as it were, he decided to out me in front of the 7th grade class, which resulted in me getting off the school bus, people chasing me down the street, yelling, faggot, queer, the 7th graders cornering me into someone's front yard and basically beating the shit out of me. Really the worst time of my life. I mean, it made me feel so terrible that I couldn't even deal with it. I ended up more depressed, alone. I had friends that I kind of kept in the dark because I didn't want to lose them at the time, and they were the only thing that really made me happy and made me want to go to school. And I was dealing with it slowly and surely, and then I decided to hide my emotions and hide my feelings. And it went way bad, way fast. And I basically finished through my college years. I went and finished, doing what I love to do, my photography. And lo and behold, I started having fits of rage, anger, And so much so that we had a new employee that showed up at my work, to whom I snapped to the point to where she started crying and went into the lunchroom, curled up in a ball, shaking, completely afraid. What I hadn't realized is that she had just come out of an abusive relationship herself and had escaped from her abusive husband. And I realized, oh my God, what have I done? I have literally made somebody feel like shit. I have literally made somebody literally look like a prick, like an asshole. I felt terrible. For literally 3 weeks, I felt miserable. So then, I decided enough was enough. And that I needed to stop hiding it, and I needed to be me. So, I went to a bowling event, ran into an old friend, and I asked him out on a date. And we went out on a date, and it was probably the most wonderful date of my life. Because for the first time, we were able to walk around Seattle without anybody judging us, looking at us, making fun of us, or anything else. We decided in the end that it would be a good idea to remain friends. And I am so proud of him because he currently has found somebody that interests him and interests his life. So for that, I'm really proud to have a friend like Elliot. And he taught me that I could be myself without fear. A few weeks went by and I ended up in a kind of complicated situation. I ended up in basically a puppy play scenario. For people who don't know what that terminology is, you can look it up. My friend of 25 years, Chris, aka Jubei Hayabusa, if you haven't seen him on YouTube, kind of woke up on a lazy boy in my room with my other friend and me, caught in a compromising position. And no, not Elliot, somebody I'd met recently, and I'm not going to get them involved in this, and I'm not going to be mentioning their name, because honestly it's going to bring up bad memories, and memories that I care to keep to myself, and sometimes just try to forget, but it's really been tough. Anyways, he woke up, looked, realized, oh, I was in a compromising position. Yeah, well, definitely compromising position. I ended up being his pillow. I'm not ashamed of it. And basically, everything kind of went to pot. Me and him decided to take off and spend some time together in a hotel. Where at the time he wanted to hire me as his personal assistant. And I was okay with that because I had recently come out of a job, if you saw my trailer, where they were being downright racist and getting away with crap that no company in their right mind should get away with. And then I started getting text messages, just hundreds of them. I kept getting them from my friends over and over and over again. My friends just over and over and over again. John, what are you doing? John, come on. Just hounding me, making my relationship not work. Making our friendship even not work if we wanted to stay friends. And it angered me so much that nobody could trust me to make my own decisions, to make my own life choices. And it made me angry. Then we got a knock on our door. It was the police. Turns out one of my friends decided to phone the police on me for no reason. And that angered me. That somebody couldn't trust me to make my own life choices, my own life decisions, and let me be me. But yet they had to freaking sit there and call the police because they were, oh my God, he's out with a guy. Freaking out. And it angered me. It angered me so much that I don't know. I'm still talking to that person and trying to think of, a nice way to continue to be friends with that person. And we're slowly working on it. But during this relationship, it ended when everything turned abusive. I mean, we got drunk. We yelled, we screamed at each other. And I just broke down and couldn't take it anymore. And I literally broke down to the point of complete crying. And it bugged me to no other. And it was so sad. Because I really did enjoy his company and I really did like him a lot. And it's so sad to try to get over somebody when they had such a large impact on your life that they literally gave you the courage to tell your old job to go to hell and stand up for oneself and to tell them off. And I may not be at the most perfect job right now, but I'm happy to be at a new job. I'm happy to be at a new place of work. And I'm happy that I'm able to be me at my new work without people judging me. And that makes me so happy and so thrilled. During this time, my roughest thing was coming out to my mother. Because I was so afraid of being disowned and thrown out of the house for doing it. And I was so worried about it because, see, even though that I am disabled, and I have been disabled my whole life due to the way Washington State currently runs the Social Security Administration here. I don't qualify for anything through the state of Washington at all for assistance. So I am basically in poverty status with basically my income from my job. And that's really kind of angered me too, because I tried to get state assistance. They wouldn't help me. They wouldn't lift a finger to me. But, oh boy, two of my friends who are also disabled get full state assistance. Their apartments paid for by the state. What the fuck? That just pissed me off even more and sent me into a more downward spiral. But I decided it was time to call my mom. And I let her know what was going on. And she basically said, I kind of figured it out. It always seems to be your mom that knows it first. And in this case, she knew. And she said, I'm totally fine with it. Don't worry about it. The nice thing she did is she recently, on my half of the house, decided to install a locking door for my privacy, which I was really grateful for, because I had been talking to my sister and, at the time, and so my mom and my sister knew, and we were talking, and they both agreed it was probably a good idea to have the locking door, because they didn't want my father to walk in on it, or walk in on anything happening for that matter. And so I was glad for that support, and that support being there. I still had to finally bring it up to my other sister and to my father. And my sister, no problem. My sister accepts me for who I am, and I'm really happy and pleased with that. The person I really can't bring it up to is my dad. Not yet, at least. My dad is kind of the issue why I ended up in depression, and why I ended up literally going and trying to kill myself. He wouldn't give me my privacy. He wouldn't leave me alone. He kept bugging me. Go out on a date. Go out with this lady. Go out with that lady. I didn't want to. It's not who I am. I went out on a few dates with a few girls, but nothing that even remotely turned me on. There was no connection, no anything. I kept feeling everything was missing. And for the first time, I had felt complete entirety being with this individual that I had met. And I felt fantastic. But like I said, it ended on really bad terms, and I snapped at him, and he snapped at me, and everything turned to pot. And it's so sad just trying to get over and get back to your life after all this has gone down. And I'm still having to keep things, from my dad, and it makes me upset that I have to, because, I have nowhere else to go. The state of Washington that's supposed to help people that are disabled don't. DVR that's supposed to help people that are disabled don't. They just throw them into sweatshops where they get to claim $3,500 worth of tax write-offs on your head. Yeah, you heard me right. They get $3,500 every time they recommend somebody to DVR. So have fun in that one. You wonder how DVR makes its money from the government? That's how. What? So, what can I say? I'm happy. I can finally be me. But I'm depressed. Totally. I'm upset and I'm sad. And I miss this one person so much. Even though that he was so abusive that it was literally like, what the fuck? You just have that moment of sympathizing with your abuser, and I've never understood it until now. And I'm lost right now. Totally. And I'm hoping things will get better here shortly. And I'm hoping my followers on YouTube will not abandon me for my change in lifestyle. I'm happier than I've ever been. And it's so nice to be free and to come out and to tell people that it's time. You know, I've been hiding this my whole life, and it made me a terrible person. It made me violent, made me vicious, made me angry. And it made me all these things that I am not. So, this is my first video blog entry on September 10th, 2016. Tomorrow's video blog entry will be talking about exactly what happened that led me to quitting my job and changing my lifestyle and changing my outlook and things like this. So, good night, YouTubers. And good morning, YouTubers. Welcome to a new day and a new person. And thank you for my followers that I do have. I have my 79 subscribers on my original channel. And I wanted to thank you so much to all of you. And I wanted to thank so much to people that I've been watching on YouTube for decades. And, you know, having friends there that did stand by me. I had a long-term friend who literally stood by me and decided not to disown me. I've had fellow members of a club that I'm a part of that have stood by me. And for that I am so grateful, because during this time in my life I really need a support structure. Thank you, one and all. And may the day be brighter. May the stars be shinier. May you stand with pride. And may you always know that even though you are a human being that thinks differently, acts differently, or decides to do something that people judge as wrong, there's always one thing you can do. Stand tall. Stand with pride. Be proud. And if anybody gives you shit, that's what rainbow-colored middle fingers are for. Thank you.